Hi, Susan Richards here again at New North Greenhouses, and we're going to talk about a few new products, trends in gardening, and some of the plants that I've got here to show you. To start off with, there is always color of the years that get announced, and back in February, I believe, they announced that there was the color trend for this year was going to be a bright sunny yellow and a very stoic gray. And what they were representing was the hope of the sunny yellow, the hope of getting through COVID, and the gray was something stable and solid, giving us the idea that there is some stability in these times of very unusual times. So those are the two colors this year that you're going to see in home decor, you're going to see in flowers and planters featured, containers, outdoor cushions and patio sets, so that bright sunny yellow and the nice mid-tone gray. Other than that, I've got a few things here to show you. And one thing that's been really popular is our big giant teacup planters. And I showed you the herb one, and that's, you can see the two sizes. And each one of these patterns comes in two sizes. This one has wildflowers on it. This one has ladybugs. This one has butterflies, and there's a few more patterns. I didn't bring them all. But these make, they all have their own colored saucers that match. And these were very popular as gifts, and they make a great Mother's Day gift or a gift for anybody, actually. You could do up a little planter for somebody, or just give somebody a container and maybe a bag of soil and a few plants if they want to get creative, or you can just give them maybe a planter and a gift card, and that way they can choose their own plants depending on the person you're giving it to. Now these could be used outdoors on your patio, or they could be used inside. And I brought over a little collection of succulents that you maybe, I'll turn them so that the tag isn't obscuring the plant. This is string of pearls, always very popular. It's a Senecio. This is a crassula called Curly, and it's got that nice little red edge to it. This is a sedum, and not to be confused with the hardy outdoor sedums. This is a non-hardy variety in Sault Ste. Marie. It might be hardy out in Victoria where my brother lives, but definitely not here. It just makes a nice trailing plant. And this one is an echeveria called Red Sky. So you could see that I've got a variety of colors in here, and habits. This trails, this is more upright, and let's see if they give me a height. 24 inches in height for this crassula, and this is low growing. So if you were wanting to plant a little container, you'd put this in the middle, the other three around it, and you'd have a nice little indoor container. And definitely they all like to be on the dry side, so don't mix a petunia with a succulent, because the petunias need a lot more moisture, and if you water to the petunia, the succulents will rot, or if you don't water to the succulent, the petunias won't be happy. So be sure you choose, when you're putting together a little dish garden, choose plants that all like the same conditions. So these all like soil on the drier side, and they all like good sun. So again, you could plant them together, and with succulents, you tend to pack your containers a little tighter because you want a nice finished look right at the beginning, and they'll just keep growing and getting bunchier and spill right out of your container. Now, I know that everybody always wants to see what's blooming and what's new. So we'll start with what's new. This is called Headliner Starry Night Petunia, and you can see it's a beautiful burgundy, sort of a great purple color with splotches of bright pink and white. And this is part of the Headliner series, and it's their new one, the Headliner Starry Sky Burgundy. So this petunia would be good for hanging baskets or in your planters, or you could plant it in the ground. It likes full sun, and it is going to get 10 to 16 inches tall, and this one plant will space about 2 feet. So if you like to plant leanly and let things grow, you could put 2 feet between plants. I personally would go a little bit closer, maybe 16 inches between plants, or even a foot. Another petunia I have here is Sangria Picotti Punch, We had this in a mix last year, but we didn't have it by itself. And you can see that beautiful fuchsia purple with that really bold white edge. And this is another full sun plant. Oh, no size listed on this tag. But it's going to be a similar habit to this one. Petunias generally get to be a good mounding size, and these two are mounding petunias. They're not like the waves that are flat and spreading. These are more of a mounding type of petunia. And then we've got a little dwarf plant. This one is called a supertunia. Now, supertunia is a brand name. If you buy Kleenex facial tissue, you're buying a brand of facial tissue. Proven Winners is a brand of plants. So anything with the PW label falls under their brand. And they choose plants that don't need to be deadheaded. And what I mean is, you could certainly clean up your plants, but they're not going to go to seed and get leggy. And this particular one, you can see the difference in size between the flowers. And this one's called Daybreak Charm. And it takes full sun to part shade. It's going to get 8 to 12 inches tall, and you're going to space them about 12 inches apart. So a little more petite than the other planters, than the other petunias. And it's got a beautiful bright pink with a lemony green, sort of lemony chartreuse throat on it. So a very pretty petunia. Osteospermums are very popular. This one's called Margarita Lilac. And we've got a whole collection of osteospermums right now in the perennial house, not because they're perennial, but because it's cold in there. And these are a cold-tolerant plant. They like the sun, and this one's going to get 15 inches tall. So when we talk about a planter needing a thriller, a spiller, and a filler, this would be your thriller in the middle, unless you're using something taller. If you were using a tall grass, this would be the filler. So it depends on what you're putting in combination. But osteos have such beautiful colors to them, and there's a wide variety of colors for the osteos. This one, again, in the Proven Winners line, this one's called Lantana, and this is Luscious Berry Blend. And this one is unique because the flowers change color. So they start off opening up to this color tone, and as they mature, the color deepens on the flower. And if you rub the foliage, it smells like citrus. So some people either like it or don't like it. This is one of my favorite plants. The butterflies come to this plant in my pots constantly. So this is a real butterfly magnet. Comes in different varieties. This likes the hot sunshine. Over here, it's pretty small right now, but don't worry, it will get bigger. Let's see if they're not giving me a height on this one. Novation Pink Bicolor. So we're growing a real nice selection of dahlias this year, and they all like the sun, and this is a bicolor, a pink bicolor. So you can think if you like, I'm just trying to think what we could match it with. You certainly probably wouldn't plant these together. You're going to get too much variation and it's going to look too busy. So if you're planting something with this, you might pick a solid color to go with it rather than this variegated portula or purslane, because it's just a little too busy with these two flowers together. And of course, to me, this is not the right color, but it's more solid. We also have in here verbena, and verbena comes in a wider range of colors. This is one of the ones that has variegation in the petals. So it's got this deep raspberry purple flower with a white center. It's called Lanai Cyclops Purple. So all the verbenas need at least 6 hours of sun. And this is a small plant in a fairly big pot right now. Personally, I would pinch that flower back and let the whole plant develop. So when you buy flowers, if they are a little spindly in their pot, sacrifice the bloom, pinch it right off, and now that will encourage all the energy to go into making that a fuller plant And it's early in the season, so you're still going to get lots of bloom on that plant. Oh, I missed one of the petunias. This is another headliner. So this is headliner Starry Sky Burgundy, and this is headliner Dark Saturn. And look at those two. So this one again has that strong outer petal margin, and it is a creamy yellow. So that's a very, very pretty one, and that's new to us this year. This is Biddens. If you like bright flowers, again, the butterflies love Biddens. So this one's called Biddy Boom Wildfire. So I don't know who names plants, but some of the names are pretty interesting. This one's Biddy Boom Wildflower Biddens. And I like the Biddens. I like anything orange. I'm not so much a pink person, but I like the oranges and yellows, and those would look really nice together. They both like hot sunshine, so they would be good together in a container. And this is a very little pansy. I should have gone to the perennial house and gotten some of our bigger ones, but it is a beautiful color. And this one's lavender blue shades. So this flower is going to get bigger. This plant, by the time we're ready to sell it, is going to fill the pot. And again, because it's such a small plant, I would take off that flower. We still know what it is because it's got the tag in it. But now that's going to encourage all the energy that's that plant put towards flowering to instead fill out the pot. We know it's still healthy. We've got nice roots coming out the bottom of the pot, so it's growing well, but it's just going to spend too much energy producing flowers at this point, and we want it to produce foliage. And of course, pansy flowers are edible. You could put them in your salad, so you don't need to waste that flower that you pinched off. And the last one that we have here, this is called Voodoo Fuchsia. So this is a shade-tolerant plant. Again, I'm going to pinch that flower off, but then I'm going to open the bud to show you the color inside. So we're going to pop that bud open. And you're going to see that it's a bright pink with a purple center. So that's going to develop much more than that. And that's going to hang down. And that's going to be a bright pink outer petals with a mid-purple bell, and the hummingbirds love fuchsias. So just remember, they don't like the hot afternoon sun, and to hang them out of a spot where it's really windy. Fuchsias don't like the wind either. But that's a real hummingbird magnet. All the fuchsias are. Put the tag back in since I picked the flower off. Make a point of taking the rest of that flower stalk off so it's nice and tidy. And now again, this one hasn't rooted to the bottom yet. It was just transplanted a little while ago. It's got a lot of growing to do before we offer that one for sale. But with the flower gone, it will now put its energy towards root production and growing foliage. So that's a quick tour through the plants. If you're wondering how to pinch a petunia, any of the petunias that will go to seed, a lot of people just pull the dead flower off. You don't want to do that. You want to go right down and take, I'm going to sacrifice this bloom and this will kill me. We're going to take that whole flower off. So when you're deadheading a petunia, you want to go right down and make sure you take that cup off. If you just pull that off, and it's a variety that can go to seed, it will still go to seed and your petunia will be long and leggy. So you want to actually take when the flower is finished, take the whole piece off as you're going around and doing maintenance on your plants. I just wanted to show you this one other plant we've got growing in hanging baskets. And you might be familiar with New Guinea impatiens, and this is a new variety. It's called the Rococo series, and the petals are ruffled, and they're huge and ruffled. And we have them in hanging baskets and 4-inch pots if you want to do something else with them. But you can also just take a hanging basket and pop it into one of the big teacup planters. But I'm going to pinch this one off. I just wanted to show you how frilly that flower is and how big it is if you look at it compared to my hand. Very, very large flowers with a real frilly look to them, and they come in several colors. So that's the Rococo series of New Guinea impatiens.